morning and welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rhonda Lahnert.
And I'm the man with the Chuckatude, Chuckalicious Chuck Williams.
And we're very honored to be joined today. There's a big difference between a statesman and a politician.
Yes.
A statesman is someone who cares about his constituency, works diligently to represent them. Even though sometimes it may not be popular with some, he puts the needs of those that he serves above his own aspirations. And that's exactly what Representative Mr. John Smithee is, a statesman who's been doing it for a while. He wants your vote again to represent District 86 as a representative in the state of Texas. We welcome Mr. John Smithee to the chat. Good morning, sir.
David, it's good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Well,
Let me start this off, Mr. Smithee, with a lot of different topics that have gone the last 2 to 3 years, the last couple of legislative sessions. We've had to do special sessions to work on some of these issues that we're tackling. One of the big ones that has really been facing and will really affect our part of the world, education. We've been talking about the voucher system, what we're going to do. There's some rural districts that feel like it'll hurt them in the long run. And we saw what a blow the education system took during COVID. Representative Smithee, as we continue to wrestle with this issue and how we educate our kids, what are your feelings on it? What type of system would you like to see, and what have you heard from the people? How would they like to see education funded in our state?
Well, as you all know, there's a big polarization of the issue here. People feel very strongly one way or the other. And I think what everybody has in common, most people have, is that they really want what's best for the children. We want to get the best education out there for our young people we possibly can. And there are different views on how we do that. My problem has always been the fact that this debate is being conducted in Austin. It ultimately may be decided by people of 181 people who are in the legislature. Only 4 of those actually represent the Panhandle, or actually 4 represent the Panhandle. And one of the things that I feel like would be a good solution would be to do this on a local option basis if it's ever done. And that is, let the voters in each school district decide if a voucher system is right for them. I've talked, to really most of my school districts, and I think that the people in those districts, and I think a lot of them would not go to a voucher plan. Some of them might. But if you think about it, I have several school districts that are 200 students or less in the district. And you compare that to the Houston School District, which is larger than the population of Amarillo, really larger than the population of the Panhandle. And they're very different districts with different needs. And so I think probably a local solution and letting local people decide is the best way to go ultimately.
do you feel like there are any gaps, like, when we chalk it, I do have a son in high school. Are there any gaps in the education system that need to be addressed?
Well, there are gaps. And, our schools vary widely across the state. I would say this, honestly, there are schools that I've seen in Dallas, Houston, some in Austin, that I wouldn't want my child going to. I wouldn't feel safe sending my child to that school. We've got, in some of our larger cities, we've got a tremendous gang presence in some of our schools. And of course, we always have a bullying problem, almost everywhere that we have to deal with. And in some of our schools, in other areas, particularly in other areas of the state, I see this a lot in Austin, they're teaching a content that most parents would not approve of. Instead of focusing on basic fundamental skills, which I think every parent wants their children to learn, read, how to write, how to basic science and math. Instead of focusing on those things, they're focusing on indoctrination, basically, on certain social issues. And I don't think most parents want their kids indoctrinated either way in school. They would prefer to teach their children at home about those values. They send their kids to school to learn the basic skills they're going to need to compete in life.
I need you to teach my child algebra. I'll teach him how to act. You know.
Oh, I want to say something. Do you know that they don't? I mean, like, kids don't know how to address an envelope.
Yeah, things like that.
Like send something in the mail.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, there's basic skills, and writing is such an important thing to be able to do, to succinctly write a thought, put it on paper. And unfortunately, kids today don't do a lot of writing because they're usually on their phone or their computer. You know, they don't.
Right.
Several teachers have told me that penmanship is a skill that's rapidly being lost. And, you know, I was very fortunate when I was in high school and college. I took a lot of journalism courses. And journalism taught me how to say what I was going to say in writing in a few words. The teacher used to take what I wrote and come in and strike out all the unnecessary words. And usually
Me too.
we tend to overuse too many words, especially we're told to write a 200-page paper, and we just kind of throw in words to make it 200 pages. So journalism and that skill of being able to communicate both orally and in writing, I think is so important for young people. But you're right, addressing an envelope, paying bills, how to write a check. You know, they don't have checks anymore.
Oh.
You have to write a check every once in a while.
You know, I go along with you, especially along that line of what to teach, not the moral, but the content of what's going on. Is there any way that we can go back to that? I mean, if enough parents go to school board meetings, is that a way to get back to that basic education?
Yes, I mean, I think we can, and I think we have to, really. I think that every minute we spend in the classroom teaching about some kind of indoctrination, trying to do some indoctrination is a minute that we're taking away from basic education.
Yeah.
And there's been this debate as to what kind of curriculum you use in the schools and how you choose that curriculum. And it's a hard decision to make. One of the things that we've tried to do is go to a curriculum where it's accessible easily online for parents to see exactly what their children are being taught in school, so they'll know. I think that's very helpful, not only to make sure that the children are being taught what they think they need to be taught, but also it helps the parents help the children learn that basic curriculum. And to be a helper at home, not every home is like that, but most homes are, where the parents really would like to help out if they knew exactly what to do.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back with Representative Smithee, immigration. It's a hot topic. We're going to dive in right here on The Chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2.